Tanwin Indian Bull Star on the side of the ring, weighing in at 2,000 pounds, the sumo wrestler, the fatty, Gizbob. Let's make some noise in the chat. Make some noise. Okay. Make some noise. In this debate, these two are going to be challenged. Their resolve is going to be tested. And we're going to see who comes out on top. Will it be Tanwin? Or will it be Gizbob? The underdog. Or the seasoned debater. Let's make some noise. Okay. So, I just want to lay out some. Would you guys want to lay out some ground rules before you guys want to start? Or we're going to get right into it?
We can get
just
into it.
mainly that I want to go 1 point at a time. That's all.
Obviously. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So you can go ahead and start your scaling or whatever.
Wait, chill. So if it's the case that someone makes like a point or 2 points at a time, or like shotguns, and someone fails to hear or address it, can I just not consider it?
Yeah. If it's like blatant shotgunning, we just dismiss it on either side.
Ah, that's cool.
As long as you call it out, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, is Shinra recording? Alright, yeah, he is recording. Begin.
All right, you can go ahead and scale the duo over Mr. Jogo.
You'd agree they can hurt Jogo?
Yeah, like with individual attacks, yeah, to some extent.
That's all I really care about. What scaling does Jogo have when it comes to speed?
What scaling does Jogo have when it comes to speed?
Yeah.
Okay, are you fine with the duo being relative to Hanami to some extent, considering he can tag them despite like the disorientation stuff from Boogie Woogie?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So from there, it would just be Jogo over Hanami who's relative to the duo.
Yeah. Why is Jogo over Hanami?
Stated. Let me look for the statement. I don't know if it's Q&A or what, but there's a statement that just says that Kenjaku would have the most difficulty dealing with both Jogo and Mahito as opposed to the other disaster curses. Let me look for it.
I mean, I feel like that kind of. I think I know what you're referring to, but I feel like that's like an ambiguous statement.
I can send it if you want.
Yeah. Can you send the Q&A? I have the statement from the actual manga where he says he wants Jogo and Mahito, not the other curses, but it's fanbook. I just know it's like a Q&A formatted question, but yeah, I guess it's in the fanbook. Somebody could send that. That'd be great.
I'm gonna send it. Wait.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it could be due to like other variables that doesn't like strictly include speed. I feel like that's kind of like random.
This is I don't think it has to be in reference to any specific stat. I'm just saying as a general, Hanami is relative to these two. Jogo's above Hanami.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you gonna get Jogo in speed above Hanami?
I'm gonna get Jogo in speed above Hanami.
Yeah, because he can be like above with some weird metric, but like, what do you think like dictates his speed being above Hanami?
This speed being above Hanami, I think it's just implied through his own dialogue. Like we know, the statement that compares Hanami and Jogo's durability, and Jogo just says he wouldn't get hit by those attacks.
Dude, he has like a smirk on it. That's like him just being cocky. Why do you think that actually means like he's fast?
Wait, why do you think that's him being cocky? Are you trying to say he doesn't have like a basis?
By
to make
definition, it would be him being cocky.
Why? Cocky in a sense where he's misgauging his actual speed, or just where you think he's holding his speed in high regard? So I think for this to actually matter, for cockiness to matter, this has to be him like misgauging his speed. I'd say have to be inaccurate to some extent.
Wait, what'd you say?
I'm saying if this is him being cocky, but it's true, it doesn't really matter. When you say cocky in like an attempt to miss it, you're talking about
on what basis is it true?
His speed.
On what basis is it true?
On what basis is true?
Yeah.
Would you agree that disaster curses have general knowledge on each other?
Saying it like, wait, hold on. We see like Jogo like constantly gas himself up, so he could just be saying it. Like, why is it true?
What do you mean? Why is it? Okay, do you want me to just get into why it's consistent?
Yeah.
Are you fine with Naruto being compared to Jogo, or Jogo being used as kind of like the benchmark for speed for Naruto when Dagon fights him?
Can you send that?
You want me to send a statement?
Yeah.
Oh, does anyone have the statement where what's called Dagon just says Naruto's probably faster than Jogo? Yeah, Milky, that was the statement I was talking about, by the way. But I just don't know where this, because I don't have a lot of Shibuya related stuff. Yeah, he says this guy is probably faster than Jogo.
Also, Gizbob, I did tell you what like my basis for him being like cocky or like hyping himself up. But did I tell you my basis?
I just didn't. I did not hear that at all. What'd you say? What was your
It
basis?
was just the Gojo stuff.
Huh?
It's the Gojo stuff.
The Gojo stuff where he thinks he could beat Gojo?
Yeah, you can like show me consistency. Like if you have that, then I'll agree with you. But I'm just
well, my whole issue with that would just be that he doesn't know anything about Gojo going into this fight. Sees Gojo. Gojo. Would you agree from like an outer perspective, your main way of gauging somebody's like combative prowess without actually fighting them would just be sensing their curse energy?
Yeah.
Okay. We know Gojo's not like renowned for his quantity of curse energy or anything. It's just his efficiency with this curse energy. So for Jogo, seeing somebody with not necessarily like an insane amount of curse energy, I think it would make sense to say, "Oh,
has he ever like met Gojo?
Has he ever met Gojo?
Yeah.
Prior to their fight, no. So I'm saying he has no basis until he gets to the fight. So
yeah, that's the thing. So I'm saying like if there's a consistency of him like kind of like saying claims or any sort of like justification, proof or anything, and then him like kind of gassing himself in that sense, I don't find him a reliable source if we know he's capable of like lying or exaggerating.
He can be. That's the whole issue with that is that he has like some basis for Hanami on this guy all the time.
Yeah.
He works with and fights alongside this guy. Gojo just doesn't know. This is a random human, and we know he like consistently views humans in like a lesser regard than he views curses.
Do we know that Jogo and Hanami like have fought together before?
They all seem to have a basis of each other's like statistics and abilities. Like we see Dagon comments on things like Jogo's speed. Like we know, at least they know key attributes about each other. Should imply that they have of each other's combative prowess. Mahito knew that like Hanami was held back or whatever, restrained in terms of his soul. It's like a bunch of shit for it.
Yeah, I get that much, but I'm just saying like, even if they all have like a general knowledge of it, I'm saying Jogo's like assessment or their assessment, because I'll say this much: I think Jogo has knowledge of Gojo as well to an extent where he knows like, he's a strong sorcerer or whatever, right?
Yeah, but again, his view of humans is warped, right? Like we know Jogo just views humans as less than curses.
Okay. So if that's true, and we see that his foundation of said knowledge, like he can have like minimal knowledge, or he can have knowledge and still like overlook it. Regardless of what or how much knowledge he has, I still have no reason to trust his belief or the take he makes regarding the things he has knowledge about. Does that make sense? Like I understand that he has knowledge.
Or if you just want like a greater basis for why his speed would be above Hanami's, we can just get into why he's consistently portrayed as being like incredibly fast, while that's not Hanami's key trait.
Yeah.
So that would just stem right into the whole Naruto thing, where Dagon uses kind of Jogo as a metric of comparison for somebody that's incredibly fast. He sees somebody that's actually just fast as fuck, one of the fastest people in the verse, and his first thought is, oh, he's on like that Jogo level. That's what I'm saying with this portrayal. Is consistently compared to fast people. We know he thinks of himself as very fast. That's what I'm saying. It's consistent for him to just be fast in the other disaster curses. So that's like his key defining trait, while Hanami's just his durability.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said at the end. What did you say?
I was saying it makes most sense for him to be fast in these other disaster curses, at least the ones he's likely stronger than, because speed is his key defining trait, while Hanami's is something like durability. Speed is something that's always highlighted with Jogo.
I don't think it has that at all. Besides this one instance, Yeah, besides this one instance, it's not. So I don't think that's something that's I think what's highlighted is his like crazy output or how terrifying his techniques are. I think that's his like more selling point. But regarding speed, I don't think the statement means anything. It just says he's faster than Jogo.
It says he's probably faster, at least to some level of comparability. But my point is that Jogo is used as this metric for somebody who's super fast. When Dagon sees somebody fast, first thing he thinks is, oh, let's compare him to Jogo as opposed to somebody like
Do you
Hanami.
understand that? You understand that Hanami's dead, right? And I'm pretty sure they all know Hanami's dead.
That's fine. They still have a basis for Hanami. They still have a basis for it. That's something we already went over. I don't.
What's it called? He could just be like thinking about like, okay, Jogo's still out there. This guy, he might be faster than Jogo, so he might be a big problem. But if Hanami's dead, then he doesn't have to take Hanami into consideration. He could just be gauging this guy in comparison to everyone else who he could possibly fight in Shibuya.
But you're adding extra context that I don't think is there. Why? Like, what basis is there for his comparative metric to be limited to just people that are alive as opposed to everybody he has?
There's no point in him like saying, "Oh yeah, he's faster than Jogo." If what's it called? He's not even like comparing him directly. He's not saying, "Oh, they must be on the same level." He's saying he's faster. But there's no like the only reason I think he brought that up to like an equal interpretation. I think I have a basis to back this up with the autonomy thing. I think it should be comparing him to everyone else who's gonna fight. Because the whole arc, they're outnumbered clearly, right? The curses. And they're gonna fight like all these sorcerers, like these are high level sorcerers. And if you just suddenly meet someone who's gonna be stronger and faster, one of their most strongest companions, I think it's completely founded to say, oh yeah, that could be why he's making this statement.
Okay, my whole thing would be that I think there's just as much reason to include other people that the audience has knowledge of, or I don't think these people would be excluded just for narrative purposes. You'd agree when a statement's made within a series, and there's no like narrative reason for the statement to be like a misdirect or anything like that. The statement usually points towards like some sort of idea that the author's trying to convey, right?
The idea that the author's trying to convey, bro, you understand like what we're trying to find out here is the implication behind that statement. So the statement just puts Nobito over Jogo. Now we're trying to decipher an implication made by the statement.
Yes, I'm explaining why it doesn't make sense to exclude certain people from this statement, and I'm looking at it from a narrative perspective as opposed to an inverse perspective.
Yeah, what narrative is backing this up?
When I say narrative, I'm not saying like some specific narrative thread. I'm saying like just the narrative or story in general.
Yeah,
when conveying information or an idea to an audience to hype somebody else up, I think you would agree this is meant to hype Nobito's speed up, right? Saying he's fast and somebody who's generally pretty strong.
He's going to be a big threat to everyone else who he encounters in Shibuya, yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying if the statement exists to hype Nobito up, and there are other characters that would be like a better gauge to kind of put Nobito on this pedestal in terms of speed, and these characters would be used. That's why I'm saying the author himself is not going to limit himself to only talking about characters that are.
Yeah, I don't think that's a defeater.
What?
I don't really think that's a defeater. I don't think that addresses what I'm trying to say.
You can go ahead and reiterate, but
I mean, I can reiterate if you want. I'm not gonna like be slimy and say, "Oh, let's move on." But if you,
well, that's fine. Yeah, you can go ahead and tell me what you think I didn't address.
Okay. So what you're saying, our interpretations aren't like inherently mutually exclusive in the case that if you want to say that the author should convey an idea, right, with this thing, which is that, oh, Naoto's a super fast guy, that's fine, because he's super fast, and I'm saying it's in comparison to everyone that's alive. So if he's super fast, he's not a big threat to them, and they're like minimal amount of people or curses that are trying to take down Shibuya, right? So yeah, in that sense, yeah, he is. It's a big problem if he's this fast. So in that sense, it makes sense. And I think this, given my interpretation, can exclude Hanami. That's completely fine. And I'm giving you a reason as to why it would exclude Hanami.
You're giving me a possibility as to why it excludes Hanami, and I'm explaining why it doesn't make sense from another perspective for it to exclude Hanami. That's why I feel like I already ended it to an extent. And I'm saying on top of that, there's just two pieces of information that are pointing to the same conclusion. That being what Jogo talks about with the Hanami thing, saying he wouldn't get hit by the same attacks Hanami does.
Yeah, like the first thing's in question. But
it can be in question, but I'm saying these two things point towards the same idea.
I don't think so at all, because the first thing in question, the reason it's in question is because you can use that to substantiate what we're currently discussing right now. And in this specific instance, if you want to look at it in a vacuum, I'd agree with you. But if you want to look at it based off the context that's provided to us in the entirety of the series, I'm just providing you with an interpretation that I think makes much more sense given the future events that were going to unfold or that are going to unfold after this page. I think it makes more sense. You're just looking at it in a vacuum, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, this is what it means," and I'm saying, "Okay, based off this is what it means." You say narrative, but you don't give me any part of the narrative that supports it. You know what I mean?
When I say narrative again, that's in reference to what the author's trying to convey, or what he's conveying, and what information he needs to convey something. Not like some actual narrative consistency for Jogo.
Oh, okay. In that case, you don't disagree with me then. I don't think your interpretation.
I disagree with your exclusion of Hanami from the statement. That's what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
would directly contend your idea of excluding Hanami from the statement. I explained why I don't think it makes sense.
Do you want to conclude?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Yeah, wait. So I have a judgment, but I want you guys to conclude first because something might change. Okay. So yeah, Tommy, can you go first?
Of course. So it's pretty simple. My whole interpretation was, okay, this statement is pertaining to what's it called? Because we're concluding on just this Naruto statement, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, okay, this statement could be pertaining to like the sense that Naruto could be a threat for everyone else there because he's above Jogo. Dagon saying, oh yeah, he's faster than Jogo doesn't mean his benchmark is Jogo for speed and does Jogo Hanami. It just means his benchmark would be someone who's alive because because I said this and I don't think he ever responded to this. They have a very few group of people who are still there and they would have to combat with all these high level sorcerers, right? So if he says, okay, he's much faster than Jogo, who's another person alive on their team, he's gonna be a massive fucking threat. He's gonna be like a big problem for them, right? So I think that makes sense. His interpretation is, I think the narrative is trying to portray us with an idea. I agree with him. I agree that the narrative is trying to portray us with an idea, and I say that idea is Jogo below Nobito. What I disagree with is that narrative also having this thing where it puts Jogo over Hanami. I think that's an implication he's trying to draw. And I said there's nothing that's backing this up. And I give you like a bunch of reasons. I give a direct reason as to why that's not the case because Hanami's dead. So like him being faster than Hanami means nothing. Like if he said, oh, he's faster than Hanami, that would mean nothing. So if he says he's faster than Jogo, that still has some relevance to it. I don't think he directly disagrees with my point. Or I don't think he presents a defeater that takes on my point. But
yeah, I understand. So Gizbob, your turn, Mike. Can you go ahead and conclude?
Yeah. Okay, so basically what I'm arguing is that we agree the author's trying to push some sort of idea, and that is to hype up Nobito's speed, right? To put on some pedestal in terms of speed. Now I'm saying that the most efficient way to do this from a narrative perspective would be to use the best benchmark for speed the audience has at this point, or the best benchmark that can be used, obviously excluding people like Gojo. Like Jogo would be the best benchmark, would be most efficient to use the best benchmark. I'm saying that it wouldn't make sense for the author to exclude characters that have died if they're a better benchmark, would further push this narrative by using them in this statement as opposed to somebody else. Like if Hanami were faster than Jogo or whatever, it would make more sense. It'd be more effective for Gege to tell us, whoa, this Nobito guy is faster than Hanami, as opposed to just saying he's faster than Jogo.
Okay. So do you guys want immediate judgment or do you want to continue?
Sure. Go
ahead. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I do think Gizbob won. I'm gonna have to rewatch the rec, but I do think Gizbob won this point. So take that as you will.
Cool. I don't think that really even what's it called? I don't think that even puts Jogo, or at least I don't think that puts Naruto over. Because what's it called? You're aware of the statement from the thing where they say Jogo's more Dura. The Hanami's only. I mean, Jogo's stronger than Hanami technically.
Same as is stronger than Hanami tech. Sure, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like that's there too. So if you want to say, oh, okay, Jogo.
Well, how are you interpreting that statement, or what are you taking it to mean?
Jogo would just be over Hanami. I mean, Hanami
wait,
over Jogo.
Hanami's over. Why?
Just based on the statement, because he's saying the only foundation of what Jogo's greater is a technicality.
You're interpreting it as what's called Jogo is only stronger due to this technicality, right? Or because of this technicality. Now, my whole thing would be that why couldn't it just be when looking at like in reference to techniques? Technically could be used to say in reference to techniques displayed, right? Like from a technique perspective, technically can mean that. I'm asking why it couldn't just mean that, when comparing their techniques, Jogo is superior because of their elemental matchup.
I don't think that's how technically is used. I'll show you a denotation for
I can just show you the definition.
Yeah. It just says like according to the fact or according to the meaning of something.
You are not looking at all the definitions. I'll send it.
Yeah, the second one does say with reference to the technique displayed.
Yeah.
So, this helps me more. So technique-wise, he's over Hanami, right? That's what he says, right? He's technically stronger, and the
Because
only
of
reason,
mental matchup, sure.
yeah. So the only reason his techniques, which is his source of strength, is greater than Hanami, is because of the elemental matchup, not because the techniques are in general stronger.
That's not how the statement. Just send the statement, and I'll explain why that's not how it would work, or it wouldn't entail that if that were the case.
Yeah, I gotcha. Excellent.
Hanami is super tough. Jogo is technically stronger. Okay, so if we were to take my definition, or the definition I proposed, it would be Jogo's curse techniques are stronger than Hanami's. However, if he were to receive 5 of Itadori's Black Flashes on top of Todo's curse energy infused Playful Cloud Strike, fuck, need to zoom in, cannot read for shit, he would die instantly. So if we just read it out like that, there's nothing that would entail that excluding curse technique, Hanami's stronger. Jogo's only stronger because of his curse technique. It just says he's better in terms of curse technique. Hanami's better in terms of durability. It's all that gets conveyed through this.
Wait. Okay. So do you know what? Like when you're saying considering something, considering X and Y thing, it's generally just in reference to because of this said thing, there's a distinction between these two characters, right? So if the distinction is highlighted by what's it called, elemental matchup, that would mean there's no distinction of this sort removing the elemental matchup. So if the elemental matchup wasn't in play, there wouldn't be a distinction. Thus, I think Hanami would still be greater, or at least relative.
Okay, I don't know if you're getting like what this would mean linguistically, but the whole thing is, if we remove that distinction, all that would say is that Jogo's curse technique isn't stronger. Again, if we operate under this definition, it's only in reference to curse techniques and not general strength.
Sure. Do you not think curse energy flow or curse energy manipulation is inherently a technique?
Curse energy flow or curse energy manipulation?
Yeah, an output. Do you not think that's a technique?
I think when in reference, or I think when they're talking about techniques displayed and they highlight elemental matchups, I think that has to be in reference to curse techniques. So obviously things like flow and application, like general applications, wouldn't have anything to do with elemental matchups. I think you'd agree.
To an extent, yes. But I'm saying the way we're deriving what technically means in this case is off of Oxford. That's giving us like a general idea of what technique is. I think curse energy and shit falls under that technique. The thing I'm putting into question in this case is that whether technically is in reference to strictly techniques. So if you say, oh, this because it says techniques means it's just techniques, that's kind of circular. You know what I mean?
That's fine if you think like the general definition of techniques would allow for these things to be included, but I'm explaining why the context of the statement itself, like what information is relayed to us, would lend more credence to the idea that, oh, this is just in reference to curse techniques because of the elemental matchup thing. I think that only coincides with curse techniques and doesn't coincide with both flow and techniques.
Okay. But if you want to talk about who's generally greater between these two, Jogo would win in a fight because characters, they don't just punch and kick, and these characters, they like throw their curse techniques at each other. So that's where he'd win. But what I'm saying is, just because it mentions the elemental matchup doesn't have to, it's specifically reference to one thing, because I think via definition of technically, or what technique is, it's just talking about overall and all-encompassing, like a metric. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay. Even if you want to say that's the case, we can move on, on presupposing that. I don't think it matters. I don't think it helps the statement at all.
Sure. So if Jogo and Hanami are relative, I think Yuji just.
Wait, why are they? This doesn't establish relativity again.
Yes,
You'd have to lend some credence to the idea that this is not in reference to what's called. It's not in reference to techniques. And it's in reference to general strength.
We just moved off that, no?
What I agreed to is that we could include things like what's called general applications of curse energy in techniques, but it doesn't directly correlate to stats, or doesn't directly change
what do you think when I meant output or flow of curse energy? Do you not think I meant like stats too? That's
that can influence stats, obviously, but
okay. How do curses amp themselves, or how do curses move?
What do you mean? How do curses amp themselves?
Yeah, do you don't think when they fight, they amp themselves with curse energy?
Sure, that's fine. Okay, but again, this would get into like the base states that are being amplified, right? Obviously, you'd agree if they amplify themselves, is a state that's not amplified as well, right?
Wait, what did you say?
Okay, if you're going to argue that they amp themselves, obviously they'd have a state that is not amped or a base state. So
Yeah,
even if we were to say that, actually, dude, I don't even know if you're not getting this, but all you did was remove the idea that Jogo is stronger technically, but it doesn't grant Hanami being stronger technically.
Oh, I'm fine with relativity.
Okay, and then from there, if we take like the broader definition technically and assume it includes things like general applications of curse energy, that can be fine. They can both be equally or like on a similar level with using curse energy. Why does that correlate to stats when we know they have an unamplified state? Even if their amplifications are similar, what they're amplifying is what matters here. That can create this gap.
What are curses unamplified states?
You already entail that there would be a state that's not amplified because you said they amplify.
I did not entail that. That's what I asked you at the
Dude,
beginning.
okay, if you say they amplify themselves, obviously there's something that's getting amplified, right? They can't amplify nothing.
I didn't.
We'd have to take into account what's being amplified.
Amplify. I just mean like the usage in this case. So in this case, I think they're using crit energy to move because this is bodies of crit energy, right? So obviously they're going to use crit energy in order to like move, and their output would be just leading to how fast they move and shit. So I think in this case, if their relative overall be stuff like crit energy output, and that's just what they use to fight, that would just put them equal or on the same level.
Okay, you can like try to interpret it in that way. I can just give you more consistency as to why this isn't the case, or there is something that has to be amplified if we agree their amplification is similar because Jogo is generally regarded as stronger.
Wait, what did you say?
I said I can just, even if you want to try to interpret it that way, I can just give you more consistency to the interpretation that something is being amplified. If we take their amplification, say it's the same level, but Jogo is still held in higher regard or held in regard as stronger, then obviously the distinction would be between what's being amplified if we take their amplification to be similar.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Like, what do you think? Do you think they have like a base level of crit energy, or that they amplify, or what do you think? Like they amplify? Do you think they're like bones and shit, like human beings do, muscle?
I honestly I don't know, but my whole point is that if I can just lend greater consistency to Jogo being above, it would defeat any interpretations that would entail that they're relative.
Sure.
Okay. So that would just fall back on the Q&A statement, where again it just says that Kenjaku have most difficulty with Jogo and Mahito.
Yeah, we can get to that in a second. What were you gonna use the Jogo thing and now? Oh, you're gonna say Jogo's faster than Hanami?
Yeah, you were asking about speed, and I was saying Jogo's like that speed benchmark, so he's probably faster.
Oh, and now, and I'm saying that they're relative, so it doesn't matter who they mention. So I'll say this now. If you want to say the whole like ghetto thing, or Kenjaku thing, I'm like, it would be a bigger struggle. Kenjaku like fights with curses, right?
I don't think Kenjaku fights with curses.
Well, do you think Kenjaku fights with curses, or do you think he just like starts off fights hand to hand?
I don't think he like. Well, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember his fight with Yuki. Actually, doesn't he just open with Ganesha against Yuki?
No, I can explain what happens against Yuji.
Okay, if somebody can like vouch, or if somebody can like vouch for what happens in his fights, if he doesn't start with spirit manipulation, that's fine.
What happens is that he opens a hole with his CSM underneath Yuji, like an illusion. Then like he swarms him with bugs, and then that's what he does.
I'm saying normally if he fights with curses, or that's the style he's like adjusted to fighting with, he would be outside of his realm of comfort by engaging hand to hand. Because I think if he like throws bugs at Jogo has AOE attacks, so he can just spam him with techniques. I think it'd be much harder than to fight Dagon, not Dagon, Hanami, who has less AOE attacks, if any at all.
Hanami makes like huge fucking Hashirama wood spikes. What do you mean he lacks AOE?
That's not an AOE attack though, because
it's not okay. Let me just pull it up. Also, I should probably address this now. You also mentioned that he would be like out of his comfort zone in terms of hand to hand, but we see he's very competent.
Oh, yeah, he can be competent still, like out of his comfort zone.
Okay, well, why is he out of his comfort zone? I don't even know what your basis for that is.
Yeah, it's he was doing something out of what's regular for him. That's by definition something that's out of his comfort zone in terms of.
You sound muffled. Reiterate real quick.
Oh, I think that's just not how he generally fights.
Dude, I cannot fucking hear this guy out. Let me turn you up.
Hey, stop with the toxicity. What's wrong with you?
What?
Gizbob being hella talk. Go ahead, Tanwin. I'm sorry, but he's just cutting you off.
What? Dude, I couldn't hear him.
Anyways, Tom.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, Tom, go on, mate. Give your argument. Tom and Laddie, go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just saying that. What's it called? What was I saying, bro? Oh, yeah, right. The AOE stuff and the comfort zone. I'm saying comfort zone in the sense that that's not his preferred method of fighting.
Do we know that that's his preferred? Your original question was, does he, or your original thing was you're asking if he starts with curses or not. I said I don't know.
And then she mentions, and then
See,
I can like.
he starts with curses against Yuji.
He does.
But he has
against
like multiple fights. I don't know why that's like a consistent thing or something that he does. Like
Choso, like every time Choso throws something at him, he always tries countering with his curse spirits.
Does he like attack with his curse spirits or just defend with them?
We see him attack. Well, the Yuji one's an example of it attacking, but there's instances against Yuki and Choso where he's attacking with curse spirits as well. Good shit.
Okay, but that's my whole thing is he can use these curses in a lot of situations. We know he also uses hand-to-hand and other techniques just as often. So I don't know why you think this is out of his comfort zone.
Wait, what?
What do you mean? Why is it?
Yeah,
you
can you
just
give me
you just named me like
panel?
obviously his fights span like multiple pages, bunch of shit. You just gave me like a few instances where he used curses. Unless there's like some greater consistency that we're not like looking at. I don't know why it's anything but more.
Yeah. Okay, but you have to give me anything because I established
any instance where he fights hand to hand or uses other techniques. Sure, I can just give you plenty of those.
No. You'd have to show me that like being over the amount of curses he uses.
Even if they're I just need to show that they're comparable. But sure. Do you know what? Does anyone know what chapter he fights Yuki? I can just like look through these fights.
The chapter he fights Yuji or Yuki?
Yuki and Choso.
Check between 203 and 207.
203, 207. Okay. I'll just see, because I know my recollection isn't like super great of this fight, but I know he fights hand to hand quite a bit.
Maybe. No, this debate has been brilliant, really. Whilst he's getting his scans, Tom, how do you feel? You feeling confident?
Yeah, I'll show you. Look, check on scans.
You know what, Tommy? You sounded really confident rhetorically. I feel like you've been dominating him. How do you feel about the chat not being on your side?
Chat's never on my side.
Yeah, you're right, but you're gonna show them why you're here.
You're showing me him attack. Yeah, he can use. I'm fine with him having instances of using curses, right? The point is the consistency. Because the comfort zone, I think we would agree, would derive from what he's more consistently using.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I just don't know why
manipulation, bro. Why are you adding this, Bob?
I just don't remember. I think he uses hand to hand quite a bit, doesn't he?
He does like whenever he's like.
No, he's low key. Okay. I'm looking through that. He's low key just beating Choso up with curses. I can't lie. He uses a bit of hand to hand.
He does like whenever he needs to like close a gap or something, he goes hand to hand. But like most of the time, he does like curses or to.
Oh, but with the discomfort thing, he doesn't. His comfort level seems fine, even though Choso has AOE to deal with curses. He can just use Supernova and blow him up, but then Kenjaku counters with hand to hand.
Oh yeah, that's okay. But what I'm saying is, you'd agree that AOE would be a bigger problem for someone who's just spamming curses than fighting someone who's just throwing like regular attacks at you, right?
No, I think AOE is just a greater issue for any combatant in general. It just makes attacks harder to evade and harder to fight against.
Okay. In that sense, I think Jogo could be over Hanami. But if they're relative in general, Yuji and Todo just punches him. Like, yeah, sure, they'd be a bigger problem than Hanami because he has AOE attack.
This stems from what's called Hanami lacking AOE, which he doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to show me. Like, can you show me like he has AOE attack?
Is it cool if I just send a clip from the anime of him just making some giant ass fucking tree shit? Let me look for this.
Just send me like him like pulling off like AOE attacks to same like caliber as Jogo, or not at the caliber.
I was gonna say we could never fucking verify that ever.
Yeah, the caliber is crazy. I meant like the same kind of. You know what I mean? Like certain AOE attacks.
Like you just want to see like some massive AOE. That's what you're telling me. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, no. I think this tree construct is just bigger than anything Jogo does. This is like a fucking ridiculous amount of wood he's making.
Oh, I agree, but do you not think this is directed?
If he can manipulate this wood freely, which is what he's demonstrating, obviously he could just group it together and make it one big attack.
Okay. Wait. In that case, I'd agree, but don't you think this is or this seems to be like much more work or takes actual time to branch out in comparison to Jogo can just throw a volcano at your curses?
In terms of this expansion, well, I don't. Even if you want to say like what's it called? Jogo's would cover the AoE like a little quicker. I'm saying the AoE Hanami covers is far greater anyways. So that's where I think there's like a distinction, but they both have like great AoE.
But if I'm talking about just like spamming and stuff, Kenjaku just spam him from like different directions, and then I think Hanami would have a harder time because of how long he needs in order to activate his AoE attacks in comparison to Jogo.
Actually, I disagree. Hanami can also just shield himself with wood or use wood to keep the curses away. I think his curse technique is actually a better matchup.
Not really AoE. It's like more.
Well, yeah, no, but what this all is in reference to is who's like a better matchup. If Jogo's a better matchup against Kenjaku.
Yeah, it's like hitting someone with like a flamethrower or like using a flamethrower to like spray against curses, or individually like shooting them with guns. Where you're going fast, but you're like shooting a lot of individual bullets. Whereas a flamethrower is just going to cover a lot more area, and it's much more efficient to use.
But using like the individual bullet analogy, I just don't think makes sense because again, we know Hanami can cover like vast amounts of area pretty.
Yeah, but he needs more time, so I just think it's more unfavorable.
He needs more time. He covers a greater area, so I don't know why. Like, I don't know why we keep bringing that up. Because each of them have their own advantage. Actually, we could just get into why I think Hanami is more useful against Christopher manipulation. Anyways, he not only has AOE attacking options, right, and like can range much better. Or I guess not necessarily much better. We can range to the same amount. He can also defend himself better with his curse technique. His curse technique has defensive applications that Jogo doesn't have.
I'll also say this much. While I don't think he has defensive wise, it wouldn't matter much because Kenjaku just overwhelmed with stronger curse spirits. But I'll say this much. I think Jogo's domain is like the perfect anti-curse spirit manipulation thing. Like
perfect? I don't.
Yeah, dude, the curses enter the domain, they burn and die. Hanami, they might have to like fight. You know what I mean?
I don't. I honestly don't know. I don't think we can say anything necessarily about what's called Hanami's domain. I just think it's impossible to know. But my whole thing would be you said that Hanami would just get like overwhelmed by stronger curses, so his defense doesn't matter.
Probably yeah.
Okay, if you think he's going to get overwhelmed by stronger curses, yet Jogo is going to give him like an incredibly difficult fight or give him a really hard time.
Yeah, because he just keeps spamming and then he does his domain. And he just does his domain, curse just burns up.
Also, domain doesn't matter when his domain is less. It's just far less effective than Kenjaku's. He would just lose any domain clash or get his domain deactivated.
I agree.
I think domain is a non-factor.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Kenjaku's going to have to do something which he doesn't generally use, which is use his domain expansion. And we know domain expansion is draining and stuff. So he's going to have to use his domain expansion instead of just fighting with like spamming curses. I think that's
he has to use domain expansion in either case. Domain expansion, to avoid the sure hit or just not get beamed by somebody's fucking sure hit. He's going to have to use domain expansion against either fighter. So I don't think this is like something that Jogo can force him to use that Hanami can't. Like this is a knock you have to pull out against anybody.
Those are like sure hits. Those aren't like instant hits.
Yeah, I'm fine with sure hit not being instant hit.
Okay. So how do you know that Hanami's sure hit? He can have a sure hit thing, but Kenjaku still like spam him with curses. Whereas in Jogo's case, the curses just upon interaction with the domain, just like the way Gojo said, they kind of burn up because it's so hot in it. Jogo doesn't have to do much, whereas Hanami would have to like deal with all the curses.
Okay, then this would just get into I don't know what Hanami's domain does, so I don't know if he can just get like blitzed in his domain or whatever. But I know that Jogo's not just going to get blitzed and beat up in his domain because of what the statement says.
It's so weird. Like, oh yeah, he's going to be more troublesome, but troublesome like there's so many.
It doesn't even say. Let me look at it. It doesn't even say more. He just has a really hard time. Like the fight would actually just be difficult.
Yeah, that's why is that? Because of like punches and like speed or AP. That could just be because of like other factors.
Well, we just agreed there earlier that their techniques are of comparable value.
Yeah,
the only distinction could be stats.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. The stats have to be relative, so it can't be stats. It would have to be the way they attack or the techniques they possess. So Jogo would have to have what they call like better techniques that match better with Kenjaku.
Okay, you're arguing that it like can't be stats, whatever, has to be technique based. But we've already established one, their techniques are on a similar level. And then if we look at it from a matchup based perspective, again, the only thing you can rely on is domain expansion. Yet both need to be countered by an opposing domain expansion. Neither can be actually, or at least we know for certain Jogos can't be countered by blitzing. So if you want to say Economy gets blitzed, you just can't use this domain, that's fine. We just know that's not true, at least in Jogo's case. So just puts Jogo above regardless.
No, because what if the curses just don't get to Jogo as fast?
Kenjaku, he exists, dude.
Okay, but that's
do you think his curses outscale him? What the fuck?
No, that's what I'm saying. Kenjaku has to do something now, which is Kenjaku wouldn't have to do if he's fighting Hanami.
He fights with his curses in tandem. Actually, wait, if the curses are strong enough to overwhelm Hanami's defense, why do you think they get burnt up instantly in Jogo's domain? I forgot about this entirely, but Jogo's domain is only stated to burn up like the average sorcerer, right? Yet we know Kenjaku can make his curses special grade level despite them being fucking fodder.
Why do you think? Oh, I agree. He has curses special grade level. In his arsenal, I think those are like the absolute.
No, he says he can make like shitty like fodder curses be Choso level.
Can you send that?
Yeah, let me look for it.
I'll just vouch for it. That is in fact what he says, buddy.
Do you have that? But I know that's a fucking statement.
The context is Kenjaku says I can reinforce these curses with my cursed energy and they can take down even a grade 1 level sorcerer like you. Sound like that, bro?
Yeah. He literally just says if he reinforces a shitty curse, it'll just beat the hell out of Choso.
Or just beat the hell out of Choso. Oh yeah, if he does again, now he'd have to like use he'd have to like amplify curse spirits in a specific way in order to combat them. Whatever it is, bro. Even if he has to like,
dude, he has to do that for Hanami's defense too. You're not drawing any distinctions here. Well, because you said the curses would overwhelm his defense. Obviously, some fucking fodder sub Hanami level curse is not just going to shatter his defense and beat his ass.
Wait. Jogo's domain could be over Hanami's like actual like body, right? So in the sense that
when I say defense, I'm talking about his curse technique.
What
curse technique? Sections.
Oh, the Woodman thing. Oh, sure. The curse spirits could just the quantity of them could be the reason why it gets overwhelmed. It doesn't have to necessarily be strength.
Oh my god.
Gizbob, you understand what I'm saying? Gizbob, you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, if you think it's AoE dependent. Actually, just in the first place, why can fodder curses damage Hanami? Why can a grade 4 curse damage Hanami? He has to reinforce them anyways. The fuck? Like, dude, this just isn't gonna get anywhere.
Wait. Just because he can make fodder curses special grade level doesn't mean all of his curses are either fodder or special grade level. He could just have curses on the level of Hanami.
Well, can you show me? Obviously, it's possible. What basis is there? Show me a curse on level of Hanami.
The one that damaged Yuki.
Which one damaged Yuki? And do we know that this curse was not reinforced? Like, dude.
Wait. If we only can like identify whether reinforced, but Kenjaku saying he can do it, and he only mentioned this when he's in the Choso fight. I think it's an idea that's just introduced to us later. I don't see why the same ideas are going to apply here.
Okay, just show me what you're talking about, and we can get into that. It's gonna be like some ugly, like fucking default worm basic curse.
Gizbob. Last Tanwin's chill, wait. So sorry to cut you off. I just want to know, are you feeling confident with this debate so far?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
You seem to have won over the crowd. The crowd are supporting you. They're cheering your name. How does that make you feel, Gizbob?
We love to see it, man. We love to support
it. What is David doing, bro? David, give me an act and I'll concede.
So, Gizbob, going into this debate, you were the underdog. Niggas did not know who you were. You were random. How does it feel to have this recognition?
I don't know why Calm Rage is asking who I am, but because he knows damn well, he knows I'm his father. But it honestly, it's astounding, man. I've come a long way over my little journey within JJK Inverse. It's been quite the come up.
So, do you expect to win the finals?
I absolutely do. I guarantee I will bring home a finals win. Guarantee it.
We love the confidence in Gizbob. Tommy, do you have to scan?
Yeah, I got you. It's almost there. It's the It's the one that like pushes him into the thing, bro. That pushes him into the hole. Which one was it? 133, I think. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, mods, can we ban Teddy? Teddy's being disrespectful to the people that are debating. I don't like it.
Check hands.
Wait, who?
Teddy Fresh.
Better not be Teddy Fresh, man. Okay, let me look at this.
Curses over Yuji, over Mahito, over Hanami, over Jogo. Relative to Jogo.
This just presupposes he's not reinforcing him, dude.
Yeah, and that's what I said. That's why I just said, like, don't you think that if it was reinforcement and that's an idea the Geigi wants to communicate with us, it would be communicating it with us when it's first used rather than just waiting for like a random time?
Okay, firstly, we know cursed spirits being reinforced is just a natural part of the technique. I could agree.
Do we know that?
Any curse technique, you can increase its output or make it.
I know
more
you
effective.
can, but what I'm saying is, like, does that mean like every time he uses curses, they're just by default amped, or are they just at the level they were when he was captured, or they were captured?
Actually, I don't even have to really get into this. My whole thing would just be that the idea that Gege's bringing forth would just be the idea that Kenjaku can make grade 4 special grade, not just the idea that they could be reinforced in general.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to move on?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
And then my next bit is just like Yuji punches Jogo and wins.
Huh?
Yuji just punches Jogo.
Why is he able to?
Because if he can hurt Hanami, and
also
when
you said move on, you were talking about the whole reinforcement of curses subpoint, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what scaling do you have to get Yuji like to be able to hit Jogo?
He hits Hanami, and Hanami and Jogo are relative.
Dude, you didn't establish relativity between Hanami and Jogo.
Yes, you do. Oh, see, is this not backtracking? See, I DM'd you like when he agreed.
Listen. What you said was that he agreed, but what I heard from him was something different. So I'm gonna check rec, but I don't know, bro. Ask David.
Alright.
What are we chatting about?
He can just check rec. Regardless,
he's trying to sneak a W, bro. It's so sad. What is wrong with you?
That's not even a sneak. That is not even a sneak.
Okay. Well, wouldn't we need like judgment on this point to move on? Because we haven't actually
asked Gizbob, don't even lie. I've asked you like 20 times. Oh, they're not like no one's above. They're on the same level. I've been saying that.
Same level generally? No, is the exact opposite of what I'm arguing for.
Oh, I know.
We talked about same level earlier. It was in reference to techniques.
No, I don't care about all that. But you agreed that my position has been for the last 20 minutes that they're on the same level, right?
Sure, but that's not what you're arguing for in every sub point.
Okay, cool. That's all I care about. Because I don't know why you should have snuck it in, bro. Because that's like what I've been arguing.
Yeah. If you think I agreed to it, that's fucking absurd. But yeah, we can.
I don't think you agreed in that sense. But I remember me saying, okay, if both of them output technique-wise, and technique-wise would include the like the curse energy output and movements and whatever. And you said, let's move on. I'd assume you have no disagreement with it. All right.
Dude, we argued that fucking. We argued that fucking point for God knows how long.
Yeah, I know. And at the end, I said, okay, none of them have to be over the other. But I think based off this statement, this is the case. You then say, okay, move on. And even if that's the case, then you got into your bit.
I did not. Fuck it. You're gonna have to show me a timestamp.
Yeah,
I do not at all.
Big butts in my wall,
but whatever I agreed to definitely was not in reference to general statistics.
Statistics. You're so nerdy, bro.
Uh,
All right.
Damn, are you gonna take what? Are you gonna take that, Gizbob? You a bitch.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, if I lose the server, if I lose this debate, I'm just banning him. Like what?
Yeah, you are. Sure.
Wait, so do you guys want judgment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Oh, so okay. So the reason why I'm giving judgment to Gizbob, bro, is because the entire stats related thing was kind of weird for Gizbob to agree to. Because the point that I gave judgment to beforehand was whether Jogo was portrayed to be faster than Harmony. So for him to go back and say, never mind, Harmony and Jogo are relative, it just doesn't sound right to me. So I'm being charitable and like agreeing to his interpretation.
Well, yeah, I
also.
don't remember agreeing to that at fucking all. So that's why I want like a timestamp. I don't know what he's
And
talking
then
about.
as for the curse technique thing, I kind of just think Gizbob showed that there shouldn't really be a distinction, and that it's also just that Jogo just being that. You know, man. But obviously, you know me, I'm not too competent. You know, I lost the deal. I'm a shadow of my former self. So if you want to get a second judgment from anyone, you know, I'm glad and open for you to do that. Apollo's in chat. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Tanwin, dude.
Gizmo got it. Gizmo got it.
Bro, okay, wait. Link me this timestamp. We can go over it because whatever I agreed to, I think I was probably like